A devastating war divided two territories. The water, source of life, was turned into the trigger of a tragedy that took thousands of lives. Nowadays, 15 years later, Peace Path River is a symbol of peace. Hi, good night. I'm Bridget Middleton. I'm here with two protagonists from the events occurred at the Peace Path River. Two former enemies that now work together to assure a better future. General Westmore, General Eastwood, thanks for being here today. I want to start with this question. How do you remember the beginning of those difficult days?
At that time, I remember we had a severe problem with water, and when the drought of 72 happened, the conflict exploded. The constant sound of bombs, screams, gunshots, then the silence. Children stopped playing out, and people stopped moving, because we were fighting to take the control of that river that turns into a battlefield.
This river has been the life source of the region, not only for us, but for the biodiversity. And when the drought happened that lasted 5 years, the ecosystem suffered a lot. General Eastwood, how was it for you?
I lost my brother during the drought, just before the war started. I thought that taking that river was the only way to save my family and my people, but every time we tried, the only thing we got was more deaths.
It's hurtful not having access to a resource that everyone could have right to and responsibility on. At some point, did you think that the war would end?
No. On the heat of the conflict, you see enemies, not people. But that changed one night. We were trapped in the middle of a cruel winter. Both sides we ran out of water, and the river was frozen solid. There's when I realized that our fight was nonsense. Without of water, neither of us will survive.
I remember that we made a truce. We got together in neutral ground to collect snow and drown the frozen river. Nobody shot. We saw each other to the eyes, and we understood that we weren't so different, and that maybe we could leave aside the human selfishness and share that great resource.
Impressive! That was one of the most important moments in our history, demonstrating that the capability to dialogue is stronger than the force to impose to others. But what happened when the truce was over?
Our leaders were divided. Some of them pushed us to fight, and others went to dialogue. We made an agreement on sharing the water during the winter. On those meetings, we gave in to the tiredness of the fight, that we found more coincidences between us, and by the end of the winter, the seeds of peace were planted.
But not everything is goodwill and talk. How you passed from words to action?
It wasn't easy at first. Nobody trusted on each other, but we started something simple, cleaning the river and restoring the flow of water. We realized that if water flows, our communities could do too.
Seeing the success, we designed a system for sharing water administered by a joint team. It was the first time that we worked as friends, not as enemies.
What was the hardest part of that process?
Forgiving each other. There was so much pain, too many losses, but we understood that hate won't suffice our thirst, nor restore our lands.
Today, this river is a symbol of what we can achieve when we stop fighting and start to talk. General Westmore, General Eastwood, do you have any message that you would like to share with next generations?
Remember, water is life, and life is everyone's right. Never let that something that essential divide us.
Remember that as well as water, our differences can flow and find common paths.
Today, the river that once divided these communities flows freely, but also a reminder of what dialogue and cooperation can do as true tools for peace. If something as essential as water can bring us together, then any difference could be overcome. Thank you, General Westmore. Thank you, General Eastwood. And thanks to you for being part of this and now being part of our story. Good night.